Thank you for staying tuned to Sunrise at Sea right here on CTV. My name is Apollo Sarah and it's time for our views. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you just tuned in, you just missed a whole lot, but you're just in time for the favorite segment of the show. My name and my ladies are here. This is Shivan Alma. I was about to reintroduce myself again. Shivan Alma and Sandra Cope. Hello, ladies.
Hello, Sarah.
Sandra, I did notice your manicures. This is so cute.
Thank you.
That looks so beautiful. Point into the camera so they can see. I don't know if we can get a close-up. Can we? That looks absolutely so dope. Anyway, today I saw something on the internet that is the reason for this conversation today. And if you don't know who Kiki White is, well, Kiki White is an American singer, actress, and reality TV star. She has a powerful voice. She's just an amazing, talented woman. She's also a songwriter, and she is making rounds on social media, and she's trending. Why? Because she's expecting her 11th child. Yes, you heard me. Her 11th child. Well, a big background of how many children that she has and how she got them. Well, it's her third. Let me start from the beginning because I'm even just baffled by this. Well, she had her first 3 children with her first husband, who was her road manager, and his name was Ramat Morton. But later that relationship, that marriage ended, and then she went on to remarry, and she got married to her second husband called Michael Ford, who she had 4 children with, and she adopted his daughter from a previous relationship. And then she went on to get divorced in 2017 when she was 8 months pregnant. And then she remarried in 2018 to now her husband, who is with her in that picture, and he's called Zachary David Daring. And they have 2 children and are expecting their 3rd child together. So in total, she has 10 biological children and 1 adopted child, bringing it to a total of 11 beautiful babies. So today I asked the question on our social media. Is having too many children a sign of irresponsibility? But before we get into that question, how many children is enough?
Oh, wow. I think it depends on a lot.
Yeah.
Yes, it depends on a lot. First of all, it depends on finances. Yes, it depends on finances, and because children are expensive.
Yes,
They're very expensive. So it depends on finances, and then it also depends on your health state.
Okay.
Because some women have very, very, very disturbing pregnancies.
Yes.
Yeah, health-wise. They have so many complications, yes, that go on, and it can be life-threatening.
Yes.
Actually, some doctors, if you have a C-section, they tell you after the 4th baby, don't come back. But even if you give birth normally,
yes,
like you're not growing any younger, so it's very, giving birth over 40,
yes,
you're risking. It's very risky. Even the doctors will tell you. So for me, I feel it depends on the finances and your health.
But for you, how many children do you think is enough?
If your health is okay and the finances are okay.
11.
No, absolutely not.
How many?
For me, it would be 4, and it would be a stretch because having children is not going to become a career.
What about you, Shivan? How many children is enough?
So recently, before I saw a woman literally go through labor, I told myself I would want to have 5 children, 3 girls and 2 boys. But after watching a friend of mine in labor, I told myself I think even 5 are way too many. I zeroed it down to 2, but recently I convinced myself and said 4. I could have 2 girls and 2 boys, but even those 4, I'm thinking of bringing them down to 3 or 2. So I'm thinking an average of between 2 and 4, because you see, here's the thing. First of all, the pain. I'm not sure. Well, I had this conversation with Sandra a few weeks ago, and I was telling, I'm not sure if I actually want to go through that pain. And people would be like, but you're talking now, but when you actually want to get children, you'll go ahead and have them. Because so many women have said, oh, I'll never go back, but they still go back and, have the enjoyment and then have the children. But at the end of the day, children are bundles of joy. I would love to have as many as possible. However, well, we're cast, we said we shall give birth.
I like the way Shivan is, she's so, she's so sure. I want to have 2 boys and 2 girls. You don't get to go and pick them off the shelf.
Yes, I know
As
that.
if you get them from a supermarket.
No, I'm just saying, it would be my preferred thing. But all, like I said from the beginning, all children are gifts from God, regardless of their gender, whether female or male. I would accept them.
But you know what? Sorry to cut you short. You know what? Like she says, children are a gift from God. But honey, when you have many children, that sometimes those gifts that you want to return.
You can't take them back.
You're
Unfortunately,
losing
you can't
your
take them
gift.
back.
And you can't re-gift either.
And you know I'm the mistress of regifting. This one
You
I
can't re-gift, unfortunately.
Well, get this. Well, girls generally start menstruating at the age of 13. Okay, that is average when they're supposed to. And you go on to adulthood until the age of 51, you know, well, but it's relative for some women. Well, that puts it at giving a woman about 38 years of her life where she can be fertile and give birth. This is for most women. This is not for every woman, but on average, you know, this is according to world statistics. Well, it goes on to say that each woman has a probability of about 40 pregnancies.
Oh, wow.
You can conceive 40 times. Okay, but let's seriously 40. But anyway, check this. There's a lady in Uganda and her name is Marian Navitanzi, and she does have 44 children. Yes, well, she went on to lose 6 of her children and leaving her with about how many? That's 36 children under the same roof. Well, she started getting pregnant. She first got pregnant at the age of 16 after her parents sold her, because that's how she said it, sold her to a man, marriage, you know, teenage marriage. And then she went on to keep on having sets of twins, triplets, quadruplets, and now bring it to a total of 44 children. Imagine that.
I think it would be
my
so
gosh,
much
would you
better to
forget
just
some
give
of your
back.
children?
I don't
40
think
children.
Of
so. I don't think so.
Would it be like, is that my... Oh, no, it's not.
Yes.
It's the neighbor's kid. And you can realize this maybe after 2 days they have been under
Yeah,
your
they've
roof.
been missing, actually.
I know, like, how do you keep count? So now this brings me to my next question. Do you think it is irresponsible to have so many children? Is it a sign of irresponsibility?
If you can't cater for them, it's definitely a sign of irresponsibility.
What do you mean if you can't cater for them?
I mean, by the time you bring children into this world, you should be able to fend for them. Children are no joke. I've not had children before. However, seeing myself growing up, I almost took, an arm and a leg from my parents. So they spent so much on me. So I'm thinking in my head, by the time you go ahead and have 40, 30 plus 20 children, you must be willing to cater for them. Not just financially, by the way, but we are looking at emotionally and mentally. And that is actually the most draining part, because it could take a toll on you. So for me, irresponsibility comes in when you give birth to children, you're not able to
Take care of them.
to take care of them financially, you're not able to be a mother and a father to them, then that is an irresponsibility case. However, if you're able to have children as many as 30 and 40 and you're able to take care of them and give them your undivided attention, what does this mean? That you're going to cater for each and every child the way you would cater for the first, the second. Exactly. So then you're going to have to reach a point where you're going to have to space them. If you're going to give birth to 30 children, you might want to space them, yeah? So you might want to space them within an age bracket of either 2 years or 3 years, and making sure that each person actually has, you know, undivided attention and care and all these sorts of things.
Yes. So for you, it's not a matter of whether you can, it's not a matter of how many children you have. It's your ability to take care of them, right?
Yeah.
So you can have 40 as long as you're giving
Me, I
them
wouldn't
some
have 40.
attention.
I wouldn't have 40. I personally wouldn't have 40.
You could have, you know, as many as possible as long as you're going to give them the same amount of attention. But is that the case? I mean, growing up in your home, were you all given the same amount of attention, your siblings? Have you ever heard of the middle child syndrome? Yes. Middle child syndrome, where the middle child feels invisible, you know, left out, and because by the time the parents have the first child, because actually firstborns are given the most attention, okay?
And
they
the
are
last.
the
Even the last.
the firstborns are given the same the most amount of attention, because this is the first child. The parents are very excited. They make a lot of mistakes with raising the first child. By the time they get to the second child or the middle child, they have already, you know, the former is gone already. You understand? So not a lot of attention is paid to the middle child. And then when it comes to the last child, it is a matter of they are a lot more pampered. you know, and I think it's just a sign of overcompensation, because by the time you get to the last born, you don't have enough time to raise them, so you just become the yes man in the house. So like, you want to burn the house down, okay, that's fine, honey, go ahead and burn the house down. That's an extreme example, but you understand what I mean. But do you honestly think that it is possible to give children the same amount of attention, even if you had to? Do you think that it is possible? Now imagine if you have 11 or 44.
I think if you have 2, then it's possible. You can manage it. It is quite possible. But I feel people who have, some people, not all people, some people, it's a sign of irresponsibility. How? Because we are taught, or maybe we are taught from African traditional society. In African traditional society, having many children was a sign of status.
Yes.
Yes, it was a sign of status. And we as an African society have brought this forward. You find people telling, like aunties or friends, oh, have children, God will provide. You have to plan. You can't just go having kids like rabbits.
Yes.
You have to plan for them. These same people who tell you God will provide, you can't call them for school fees.
That's true.
You can't call them for school fees.
Yes.
And then there are other ladies who would have kids, and then they just go and take them to their mother.
Yes.
Then they come back. Then they take them to their mother. And they just keep on taking them there. They
And
can't
the
fend
cycle
for them.
continues.
They just take them there. And then they will say, oh, I have 6 children. Oh, I have 10 children. Who you're not looking after, you're not responsible for to raise. It's not, being a parent is not just giving birth to a child. Even for a man, it's just not fathering a child. It is being a parent each and every day to this child. Being a mother. To be a mother, you don't have to have given birth.
Yes.
There's so many mothers around because they take on the same responsibilities to these children, just as fathers who are parenting other people's biological children because they are MIA. But these men are there each and every day. They are responsible. They nurture these children. So it's all about that. It's just not about going on a giving birth spree or planting your seed everywhere. If you just, have you heard of contraception? Don't do that.
Yes.
So yes, that is being irresponsible if you do it that way. Yes.
Well, I honestly believe it's quite irresponsible, because it's really irresponsible, because if even just taking care of one child can take a whole toll on you, what about taking care of 5, 11, 20 or 44? That is a lot. And there's also, let's not only just look at women who are giving birth to many children, but let's look at men who are having multiple children all over the place. For instance, Nick Cannon now is expecting his 8th child. He lost a child last year, baby Zeke, yes, baby Zeke. And he now, when he lost his child, he had another woman pregnant.
Wow.
Imagine. He's attending a funeral of his youngest child, but then he has another one on the way. Imagine that. So now he has 8 children, with the 8th, of course, on the way, from 4 different, women. That makes me ask the question, when does he have time to be fully present in all these children's lives?
He doesn't, because your children as well, as a parent, your children are your legacy. Yes, that is what you leave for them, your legacy. Many people would think legacy is about material things or this and that. Not just that. It's quite
the values and
the values and the
principles
that you live in them. Now, if you are divided between 4 baby mamas, and remember, each home has its own culture.
Thank you.
And the mother is the operations manager of the home, so she sets pace
for
that particular home. So you can imagine these 4 homes have 4 different cultures, home cultures. Yes, the way they do things. So when are you going to sit? Because the man is the CEO of the house. The wife is the operations manager. You have to be in sync. In sync. So how he's not in sync with all these women. So you can imagine there's a disconnect between him and his children. He's not going to leave his legacy to all of them.
And I think this is one thing that parents and couples need to put into consideration, even before you think about having so many children. Gone are the days in African culture where having very many children was prestigious or made you look like like, you know, you are the best thing that ever happened to the country. No. It's high time you realize. It's high time you realize that having a child and mentoring and parenting is not an easy thing. Have the number of children that you can actually cater for. Let's first of all look at the consequences of having so many children all over the world. These are the people who have issues when they have passed away, and then there is splitting property, and then all of a sudden you realize you have a half brother the other side, you have a half sister the other side. Why? Because your parents were not able to come to a consensus and say, you know what, this is what we want, and these are how many children we want to cater for. I think it is high time that even by the time you think about walking down the aisle with your partner, have these conversations as to how many children that you want. But also to the men out there, I want to re-echo what Sandra said, yes? Having children is not a career. Yeah? Do not take a woman home as a baby-making machine. No, there is more to life than just making babies. I am not saying that it is wrong for a woman. I'm not saying it is wrong for women to give birth and, you know, have children, but I think they should be allowed to also have a say. If a woman says, I want to have 4 children, don't tell her, no, me, I want 10 children. Do you know what it means to have 10 children? Are you also going to be... The thing is, it's okay, the woman can have 10 children. Now the question, the table stand, you as a father, are you ready to also do the parenting job, or you're going to leave it all to the woman? Are you ready to cater for them?
I want to ask this question, and thank you for putting... That's why when I raised my hands, because I had to stretch.
You wanted to beat someone.
Why is it that we shun upon modern women for wanting to give birth? You have just said there's more to life than just giving birth. But what is wrong with giving birth if she wants to have as many children as she wants? But isn't giving birth, giving life, isn't it the most beautiful thing?
Absolutely.
And the most... what's the word? For lack of a better word, the most... what is the word? Sacred thing. Yeah?
I totally agree with you. It is such an amazing thing to bring life into this world. However, the context that I was bringing it in is when a man comes into the picture and the woman says, you know what, I want to have 2 children, or I want to have 3. And for you as a man, you want your wife to have how many? 20. And she doesn't want. That is not being fair. What does that mean? You all have to come to a common ground and realize that there is more to life than just giving birth. For some women, they don't even want to do it. Other women would prefer to adopt. So, I mean, at the end of the day, what do both of you want? Okay, after you've realized what the both of you want, how many children are you going to have? Are you ready to cater for them? And this is the thing that I keep telling people. Catering for children goes beyond finances.
Yes.
It involves your mental energy. For very many people, after they have given birth, they go through a whole mental breakdown. It involves mental, it involves physical, it involves emotional. It's just not financial. It means being a father. And by the way, very many people can be called dads, but very few men can be called fathers. To be a father means being available 24/7. That means that if your wife is at work in the middle of the night, that you can actually go and change the diapers of the baby, and you're not going to say, oh my God, your poo-poo smells or something. No. No.
For me, I think that I'll be honest. Sometimes I judge women who have
exactly.
And honestly, I'm being honest. I'm being completely honest, and I judge from this point of view, because some women, when you go to see them, they're all like, "Oh, help me with this. Can you please shower? And then can you, honey? You chose this." I didn't choose a nursery school. You made your bed, lie in it. And as I said in ATS, African Traditional Society, have more children. It takes a village to raise a child. Take a look around. There is nobody to help you raise those children today. Nobody has the time. And I'm not there. Sometimes they invite you to their homes, yet they want you to kind of babysit.
Yeah,
Let me run to the salon quickly, and I have plans.
Yes.
I have plans. No, you are the one who decided to have this, this train of children, this whole team. So deal with it. I am going to show up, have my rosé, and retreat at will. When I feel it's too much, allow me to leave.
Yes.
Yes, don't keep me there at ransom. You're the one who chose to have many kids.
Well, Uganda did revise its pledge to meet the unmet the unmet need among adolescents to increase family planning from 30.4% in 2016 to 25% in 2021. And this is by actively involving the men in family planning, because men think that it is not their job to, you know, pay attention to contraceptives or, you know, do the work to ensure that they are in a place where they can properly manage the number of children that they have. But even women, ladies, please, come on. Do not be giving birth unnecessarily, you know, for the wrong reasons. Or I think it's absolutely careless when you say, oh my God, when you take a pregnancy test and it comes out positive and you are in shock, you acted irresponsibly, point period blank.
Yes.
You need to, when you take that pregnancy test or you feel like you're late, it's like, oh yeah, I expected it because I planned for this to happen. Let us be a lot more thoughtful and intentional with the things that we do, especially when it comes to giving birth to children. Yes, there are many advantages of having children. They bring you joy. They'll grow up to become rich people and buy you a house, perhaps. You know, there are many advantages to having children. They take care of you when you grow old, but there are a number of disadvantages to it as well, not just to your social being and your mental health or financially, but even to your health.
You know what I think? You know what I think? I think that some women, and I've realized this with a few women.
Yes.
And she says, and these statements were, they really hit her nerve. They were a bit disturbing to
yes.
me. She said, no, I love to have many kids because my kids love me and they will never leave me.
Your children will leave you.
They will leave you. And these are the mothers who become toxic. When their sons they want to run the home. But no, let's take a step back. I think these women suffer from self-love, because
lack of self-love.
Yes, lack of self-love, because love has to come within you, because they're like, I had these children, they will love me, because they are scared of, maybe they have abandonment issues. Yes, so they feel that these people will never leave them, so they look at their children as a source of love. But as they grow up and they leave the nest, this can actually become a problem because they will be too clingy.
That's yes, absolutely. So some of the benefits of having many children or multiple children. Number one, it leads to the reduced breast cancer risk. And the National Cancer Institute did say that women who give birth and breastfeed are exposed to hormones that cause breast cancer. It also reduces cardiovascular disease risk. It also gives you a bigger brain, by the way. This was very odd to me, but you do get a bigger brain. And it says that having many children can lead to a longer life and also having a big brain. So when you feel that fuzziness, sometimes after you've given birth and you're feeling dizzy, your brain is expanding. Your brain is expanding.
Oh, wow.
Yes, yes. And based on research in Canada, and it was done on rat mothers, it shows that the brain may actually grow with every child that you have. So the more children you get, the bigger your brain gets.
So this lady must have quite a brain on her.
Exactly.
I hope it's full of knowledge. Yes. She's having a huge brain, but well.
And then also lastly, the other health benefit to having many children is that you have longer life. And then it was said that in 2012, an Australian study followed the population of a small rural town that showed that they studied for 16 years, and the study showed that despite a mild increase in the risk of being either overweight, having diabetes, or having hypertension, women who gave birth had a reduced risk of death during the course of the study. The research was also done in Israel and Norway, and it also gave the same results. So the more children you have, the longevity of life that you're going to have. But listen, children, let's talk about the disadvantages. High risk of stress. Need I say more?
When they're still
do you know how?
I feel like when they're grown.
What about when they become teenagers?
When they are teens, it can be crazy. But when your child has grown and they're on their own, you know, they're able to take care of it, can be such a beautiful thing.
That is a fairy tale, because they may
Why are you busting my bubble?
They may get to 30, 35, and they're still acting like toddlers. Listen, children, sometimes they can deliberately refuse to grow up. And then there's a high risk of obesity. There's a high risk of obesity because when you have many children, you rarely have time for yourself to check check your diet, your health, or to exercise. And then also you might get bigger feet. And this one I can, you know, absolutely relate to it because my shoe size did get bigger after I gave
Are you
birth. Yes.
serious?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Well, hormones and pregnancy can treat everybody very
Differently,
differently.
quite different.
You know, some women even get alopecia.
Yes.
And they lose all their hair.
Yes.
Because there's another lady who lost her teeth.
Oh, yes.
All her teeth. So pregnancy is crazy. And then lastly, there's an increased risk of postnatal hemorrhage that can actually be very detrimental to your life and cause a number of health issues. So the more children you have could either work in your favor or work against you. So when you have children, please ensure when you choose to have a particular number of children, it's also important to consult your gynecologist or your doctor. So don't just, you know, make the decision. It's not up to you sometimes. You have to seek some medical assistance. And let's quickly get into the tweets and responses that we got from social media. And this one comes from Ronald, and he says, ha ha ha, my grandpa used to tell me, expand the clan, my boy, so that's what I'm looking forward to do. And then Satam says, it's only irresponsible if you cannot fend and take care of them. As long as one can, there is no problem in having a good number of children. And lastly, Godwin says, yes, clearly it is, because it signifies that the couple doesn't have control over their sexual affairs. And besides that, it's literally very hard to be raised up many children. I mean, each of them will need special attention and education, which may be a little bit harder to sustain. Absolutely. This conversation continues on our social media, on Facebook and Twitter, but don't go anywhere because Shivana Oma is coming in with a second segment of our views. This is Sunrise at Sea. Don't blink.